Hello, my friends. I'm Sam Hardesty, a certified life coach, and welcome to the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning into another episode here. I am so excited to be back with all of you guys. I was in Florida for a month, 30 days, a long time. I shouldn't say a long time, but I mean, for, my history, my past. I've never done that before. That was a new thing. I don't think it's average in today's society to go vacation for entire 30 days. So that was a very new experience for us, and it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. So today I wanted to talk a lot about actually doing things when you don't want to do them, like doing things anyways, essentially. And it was really interesting while in Florida, the first week there was so much had transpired mentally during that. I feel like I'm a new person. Like I identify as a new person, since that experience, in all the best ways. So when I went down there with my husband and our two fur babies, our two cats, we kind of went down there with the expectation of, we're still going to work and do all the things. And also, with our extra time, instead of, watching Netflix and being cooped up in the cold, we'll go for walks, or we'll go pick strawberries at a local farm, or we'll go enjoy the beach or watch the sunset or go shopping or, do other things. Right. So what was interesting is how easy it is to get into our old habits, like right away, no questions asked. And we essentially went from like that first week, I did not do anything that I said I was going to do. We essentially went and, got there in Florida, and I went straight to Netflix. I said I wanted to read these 3 books. I only read 1 out of the 3. And I think as a coach, what was really interesting is, I guess, watching myself do that, or rather not do what I wanted to do. I am someone who is, I think before even I was a coach, I was very analytical. I would overanalyze a lot of things about what I did, what I thought, what I said. Just, I think as a way of, maybe obviously it started out with as an anxiety thing of like, trying to overcorrect myself. But it's since really transpired into a self-growth thing. It's like, how could I have improved the situation? Is there additional ways for me to optimize my life? Right. So it's kind of switched in that capacity. But doing all of the things, or not doing, I should say, it really was interesting, because I had this thought. I'm like, why do we do things that we don't want to do, but we know we should do something else, but we don't want to do those things, and we do things that we don't technically want to do, but we rather do than the things that we want to do that our higher selves say to do. And I kind of just got in this like thought circle of essentially, why do we hold our own selves back, right? I feel like it's so often, especially if you're listening to this, like you're interested in self-growth, you want to be improving yourself, you want to grow, and you're watching yourself and the things you think and do and say, and that's just something that was a question that kind of, I don't know, just made me get more curious about it. It's like, why do we do things that aren't always in our highest alignment, right? So like an example is, why do I choose to scroll on social media for 30 minutes more than I need to each day? Or why do I watch, an extra 3 episodes of a TV show each day. The TV shows are my kryptonite. Um, and knowing that I have other goals that I want to achieve. Like I want to write a book. I want to finish reading a few of my books that I have started reading. I want to freaking plant my seeds for my garden, and I have little mini greenhouses inside my house, and I want to plant those seeds so then, in a month or so, then I can transfer them into the actual outside greenhouse, and then once they grow even more, then I can put them in the actual garden, like in the earth. And yet I'm here not having done that yet. And I say all this in the context of just a general reminder in case anyone was ever forgetful of this fact. I am a human. I am not a 100% optimized human. I am optimized compared to my past self, but I am not fully optimized to what my future self is capable of. So I don't want you to like, oh, well, she doesn't do the things. Yeah, no, I don't, because I'm a human. There's our brain is hardwired and to do and not do certain things. And a lot of it comes down to comfortability. Our brains want us to stay comfortable. They want us to survive. They want us to obtain pleasure in the most efficient ways possible, which is why you see a lot of work done in the physical fitness side and the addictions and the food, like all of that stuff. A lot of it is in connection actually with our brain. Like a lot of the stuff we get caught up physically is actually in connection with our brain because of how our brain's wired for us to try to obtain those pleasures, essentially. So, for me, watching the TV is my way of finding those pleasures that my brain is seeking for. And it's a way of staying comfortable. It's a way of not having to try new things and learn new things because that requires brain energy. And our brain doesn't like to give its energy away because it requires more effort. Okay, don't like fact check me on this, or rather you probably should fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's like of all the calories we intake, 10 to 30%, my brain is glitching on which one it is. 10 to 30% of our calorie intake is utilized in our brain. Like our brain uses up that much energy, which is insane to me, right? When you think about the pounds, your brain weighs like roughly, okay, here's another fact check me, like 10 pounds. And okay, if however much you weigh, it doesn't matter, but like the percentage of like, it's not proportionate. Like your brain takes up so much energy. And why do I say all of this? Great question. It's just a reminder of how much our brain plays a role in so many things. So let me get back to my story here on doing things we don't want to do. In Florida, and I think I kind of spoke this in my last personal podcast episode. I started running to the gym. And if y'all know me, you know that I don't identify as a runner. I don't enjoy running. I find it to be annoying, and I will look up any research that says running is bad for you. Just a confirmation bias there. So you get my point. But I did it anyways. And it was so interesting because the first week I did nothing. The next 2-3 weeks we were down there, I started doing things even though I didn't want to do them. And it was really interesting. Like in the moment, I was like, wow, I'm so proud of myself. And well, I shouldn't say in the moment. It was totally after the moment, reflecting, because every time I literally looked at Ian, my husband, and I said, fuck this. Like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. And not out of a sense of like, I can't, or I'm physically tired or physically in pain. Like, it had nothing to do with like, like, I'm a firm believer, if you need to rest, you fucking rest. Like, today's actually one of my rest days. I'm trying to do all of my work before lunchtime, which I'm totally going to hit that goal, and I'm so stoked. And then I'm doing nothing the rest of the day. Well, nothing like requiring huge bouts of energy. So I wasn't worried about like, oh, I'm in pain, but I should still run. Like, that wasn't the vibe. But what was interesting is I realized, reflecting back on it, I was holding the identity of I am someone who does it anyways. I'm someone who, if it's on the calendar to do, I'm going to do it. And it's interesting because I never really held that identity until like the last year, I'd say. I would just kind of do whatever I wanted to do, or I would kind of like, if it was on the list, I'd procrastinate it, or I'm like, well, you know, it could be done a different day, or I'm not feeling it. So for me to really follow through, like, this is a relatively new thing. And like to follow through on everything, you know, like everything I put in my to-do list and my calendar, like to do everything that's on there. It's a new thing. So I really got curious about why do people do that, right? Why do people do what they say they're going to do? And why do people not do what they say they're going to do? And I just remember kept saying, I'm going to do it anyways. I put it on the calendar. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm someone who does the thing anyways. And don't worry, that was not the first words out of my mouth. In fact, like I said before, it was mostly, fuck, I really don't want to do this right now. Like, I really, really don't want to do this right now. But then I would do it. And I remember coming back and just being in that moment of proud and like really feeling into like, shit, like I fucking did it. Okay, so I wrote a few notes on why you should do things even when you don't want to. Some reasons why. Okay, first thing first. Doing things even though you don't want to do them. Number one, builds discipline. So constantly pushing yourself to do tasks even when you don't feel like it actually helps build discipline. And discipline is crucial for achieving long-term goals and success in various aspects of your life. Okay. Number 2 on my list is overcoming procrastination. And I realized this is something that my past self was always hung up on. Is like, I was like, if I could get an A+ in school for procrastinating, like, bro, I'd be top of the list there. Procrastination can be a significant barrier to your productivity and your progress. But by taking action despite not feeling motivated, you can actually overcome procrastination and prevent tasks from piling up. So essentially, like, when you do the thing anyways, when you don't procrastinate, you are actually building a precedent for yourself of doing that task anyways. So you essentially like look back, you see yourself. So my point is, you essentially procrastinate less over time. Like it has a compounding effect on itself, essentially. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Another reason, do the thing anyways. You develop resilience. So life obviously often presents challenges that require perseverance and resilience to overcome 100%. And by pushing through tasks, even when you're not wanting to, you develop resilience and your ability to bounce back from setbacks. So when you think about doing things anyways, like, I'm trying to even think of an example of, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is the gym, because I'm like, yeah, I want to go to the gym today. Like it's more of like, I have a process, So I make sure I get to the gym. Now it's one of those things now. It's like, okay, if I have, like my clothes laid out, if I have my water and my protein shake and my banana, like everything laid out the night before, when I wake up, my only and first decision is, get to the gym. Get to the gym. So if I can just follow those actions, like do the things my night before self, like set up for myself, once I get there, I'll do whatever the hell I need to do. Like that's also why I joined CrossFit, is because my coach, like they tell you what to do each day. You don't have to create a workout plan, and you don't have to push yourself. And I mean, you do eventually, but, like you just show up and they're like, okay, this is what we're doing. You're like, okay. Like someone else is telling you to do it, so you're going to do it. Right. Which is a funny fact about our brain. When it comes to doing things, which on a side note, like let's think about it for a second. If you're just because, for anyone who is in CrossFit, right now, like the opens are going on, and the opens they're essentially just like an annual competition between the entire, organization, all the peoples essentially. And I am a part of it, just for funsies. And there are workouts that we're doing right now that are like, what the fuck? Like, do regular humans do this? Like, is this even possible for a human to achieve? Like, that's the kind of workouts we're doing right now just for this competition. And so if like I was looking at those workouts, I'd be like, yeah, that I'm not doing that. That's no, thank you. But it's interesting. Like when someone's like, okay, this is what we're doing today. You're like, fuck. Okay. We're doing this today. Like you adopt that mindset. Which I think also just speaks a lot into community, like making sure you're surrounding yourself with, supportive and encouraging people. But I digress. So, okay. Another reason why you want to do things, why you should do things even when you don't want to, is you actually foster growth. I know, crazy, right? Stepping outside of your comfort zone and tackling tasks you don't want to do can actually lead to personal and professional growth. So it allows you to develop new skills, broaden your experiences, and become more adaptable, which totally makes sense, right, guys? Like when you think of, like doing things, if I just keep using the gym example, like if you are talking about doing things you don't want to do, like of course you're going to start being able to lift heavier weight. Of course it's not going to feel like such a drag every time to go to the gym. Like of course you're going to be able to start encouraging and helping and supporting others because you yourself are doing that to yourself. Kind of said that weird. But like it makes sense, right? And then in a business capacity, like one of the things last year, I'm like, I want to do an email monthly newsletter, but I fucking procrastinated on it hard. So, what was interesting though, is once I actually did it though, like I was always worried that it was going to take so long, right? Well, okay, now I do it. I send out a monthly email like once a month. Well, that's what monthly means, I guess. Which, by the way, if you guys are not signed up for that, please do. Like, I would love to see your faces in my digitals. That sounded creepy. I think you know what I mean. Get on my email newsletters, please. Yeah. Okay. But anyways, so since I started doing that, now anytime I go to like create an email, like I have a process, I have a system, and it takes a fraction of the time it did before. And the thing is, if I never overcame like the not wanting to do it part, I would have never known and learned that skill, right? I wouldn't have had that professional growth in that way. Another reason, meeting responsibilities. So I feel like this is an obvious one, but like, just to say it anyways, in many cases, there are tasks and responsibilities that need to get fulfilled regardless of whether you want to do them or not, right? And meeting these responsibilities is honestly essential for maintaining relationships, fulfilling obligations, and achieving goals. So like easy example of because we did this the other day ago, was our annual physical at the doctor's, right? Day of, I'm like, I'd rather, work on this other thing or whatever. I don't really want to go. I don't really want to talk to the doctor. I'm going to sit there and like stare at fluorescent lights for an hour, and they're going to tell me I'm fine, and it's going to be so annoying and boring, right? But at the end of the day, it was like, but it's meeting a responsibility. I had a meeting, like an appointment scheduled, like someone is expecting me, like I need to do the thing, right? From a business standpoint, when you have a deadline for a client's project, yeah, you have to fucking do it, even when you don't want to, right? Or don't do it, fine, but you lose the risk of degrading your relationship with that client and or potential, I don't want to say lawsuits, I feel like that's harsh, but technically speaking, that could be a situation, right? So super, super important. Okay, 2 more reasons. Number 6, creating momentum. So taking action, even when you don't want to, can actually create momentum and a sense of accomplishment. So once you start working on a task, you may find that your motivation increases, making it easier to continue and complete a task. And this is 100% the case. I don't know if anyone else is there out there like this, is cleaning. Holy shit. Cleaning is not my number one thing, but I tell you, when I I'm just going to do the dishes that are inside the sink. Okay. Yeah. I start working on that. And then literally 10 minutes go by. I finish that. I start doing all the kitchens on the counter, and I'm wiping down the counters, and I'm cleaning the stove and in the microwave. Like I'm doing all the things, right? It all starts with the one thing, creating momentum to do the next. All right, last thing, avoiding regret. Procrastination and avoidance can lead to the feelings of regret later on. So by taking action and doing the things even when you don't want to do them, you can actually minimize the chances of regretting missed opportunities or incomplete tasks in the future. And this is something I feel like, I don't know if anyone else is like this in this way, but I personally, this is a thought that I have, not in like, oh, I'm gonna, maybe it's a similar, it's a parallel thought, but it's like a lot of it is if I were to have done this thing, or rather, if I was to have not done this thing, would my future self not like that? Or would my future self, what would be the consequences for my future self? Right? So, going to the gym thing. Okay, well, I don't want to do this, so I'm not gonna go to the gym, right? But then maybe your future, that self that didn't go to the gym afterwards is like, dang, that looked actually like a really fun workout today. Or, oh, I really miss seeing my gym friends. Or, hey, I'm actually starting to lose muscle or maybe gain weight, because I haven't been going to the gym consistently on a consistent basis, right? So it's that kind of avoiding regret thing. I think from a business standpoint, like something, okay, I'll use this, I'll be very open about this, is today when I am recording this podcast, I'm also recorded, I had such a annoying morning, recording my YouTube videos. So generally, okay, this is a behind the scenes knowledge. I feel like most YouTubers do this. But anyways, I record the entire month in advance YouTubes, on one day. So for example, in March, all the videos that are posted in March, I actually created them in February. Which now you're going to look at it and be like, what? But yeah, so anyways, today on my to-do list was to do all of April's, YouTube videos. Like I always do it a month in advance because, Ian needs to edit them. He needs time to edit them. I need time to upload them. I need time to create all of the titles and the descriptions and create little reels and like do all of that stuff. I need time to do that. So I need to do it much in advance in order for that post to go the first week of April, in this case, example. Today, I plan my week in advance. So I knew Friday, okay, today's Friday, for me. I need to post, today's my YouTube video shoot day, right? Okay, well, once I started filming. Video 1 done, yay. I'm halfway through video 2, and I look up and I realize my speaker is not on the entire time of the half a shoot of the video 2, and the entirety of video 1 is not, my microphone's not on. So technically, could it be salvaged? Maybe, but the camera is literally like across the room, so it's gonna be shit audio, and that is something that I'm like, I don't really jive with, especially like I have all the equipment stuff. So I was like, don't worry, guys, I'm a human. I've already said this. I started tearing up. I was literally so pissed when I get so angry, which is very rare nowadays, because I found to, regulate my emotions in a lot better and healthier manner. But there's times that I just like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so frustrating, right? And especially like me speaking in the camera or on the microphone, it's not something that comes actively natural to me. And I know that might sound weird, especially like being on the podcast. Oh, Sam, you have podcasts, like you talk all the time. Like, yes, and like I have to mentally prepare myself for this, and sometimes physically too. Not really. Well, kind of. I need to. A lot of it's practicing breathing. Sometimes I just forget to breathe and I start panting while I'm talking and stuff. So what is my point of all this? Is me saying, like, there was a moment I'm like, fuck it, I'm done with YouTube. I'm not going to post in April's, and why not? I'm just not going to bother. And then I started negotiating with myself. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll just do it a different day, or, we can do it another time. Like, we don't want to not, continue this momentum, this progress we've been making on, providing additional value and content to the people of the worlds. And then it just really got clear of like, Sam, it's literally on the to-do list. Like, you have however many things on your to-do list. Get it the fuck done. Like, just be done with it. Because guaranteed, to full circle this, my future self would have regretted not just finishing it today. I literally would have been like, fuck, like, why do I have to do this now? Why couldn't I have just ponied up and done it then? Right? So anyways, I did it. I did all the 4 videos. Truthfully, honestly, they're a lot shorter than what I wanted them to be. But I am of the mindset that C+ is better than not existing in the world. Or an A+ that is, takes you however much time, pain, and stress to achieve, right? I'm not that person. I want to get out there as efficiently as I personally can, that I desire, right? Okay. So those are all the reasons why you should do things even when you don't want to. Here is my last point to this entire thing. I remember, and this was literally so profound for me, and I don't know, I don't think I've shared it before. I don't think I've spoken into this lesson before. My coach, this was probably a year or 2 ago, was speaking to us and was like, okay, she said, sorry, my nose is itching. Like, oh gosh. Give me 5 seconds as I attack my nose. I think there's like a cat hair in it, obviously. I shouldn't say obviously. But like, that is what's going on. So my apologies. Okay, back at it. So my coach, she literally said in this, oh my God, like, it totally opened up my thoughts about doing things even when I don't want to do them. She said, just because you aren't motivated to do a task doesn't mean you shouldn't do it anyways. She said, just because you don't want to do a task doesn't mean that it's not for you. And this is something, so these combinations, like, this is something I always thought, oh, well, since I don't want to do it, then maybe I shouldn't be doing it. or something's wrong with me, or I'm not passionate enough, or I don't have what it takes to do this, because you're supposed to want to, provide value to other people. You're supposed to want to send emails, and you're supposed to want to go work out. Like, no, that's literally not how our brains are wired. And yet we all have this thought that we're supposed to, like, if we don't want to do something, then something's wrong with us. And that's not true. It's literally just our brain's way of trying to keep us safe. And it does a great job of combining those thoughts, because then what do we end up doing? Not the things that will require us to be uncomfortable, which is, to your brain, a huge success. So if I could leave you guys with just one thing, it would be that. Is there will be times in your lives, there will be times in your freaking every 30 seconds of my life, there are things I do not want to do. Like, I really don't want to do. If I could watch Netflix all day, and I'm being very vulnerable with you guys and opening up. If I could just like get paid to watch Netflix and just like critique movies and TV shows all day, I would do that. Why? Because it's entertaining. It's literally giving my brain everything that it actually desires. It wants pleasure. It wants entertainment, right? And with that comes comfortability. It wants to be comfortable. It does not want to, go outside of its own little box there. And I have no interaction with any other human, which makes me physically safe, right? So where was I going with this? Great question, guys. Thanks for asking. I don't know. There will be times when you don't want to do things. Do it anyways. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I hope that the weather in wherever you are located is warm and sunny and not hot, because there's a difference between warm and hot. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I honestly, now I literally have a cat hair in my mouth. Hang on. Ugh. Oh gosh, that is so gross. That was Vesper's hair, if anyone was really curious, not Stormy's. God bless me. Okay. So, if anyone is out there in the world, I want to offer you guys this. I am currently opening up 2 new client positions to work with me one-on-one. Send me a DM, send me a text message, send me an email, connect with me, go on my website and fill out a contact form if you don't have any other way to contact me, whatever. Send me a message and let's connect. Let's get to know each other. Make sure we're a good fit for each other. At the end of the day, I just want to help more people become more of their better selves. And I am also 100% a believer that we aren't meant to do everything on our own. That asking for help is actually the strongest thing that you can do in life. One last thing. If y'all could just give this podcast a little thumbs up, a little subscribe, a little notification button, or a little download, that would be fabulous. I am, I like all the feels right now. If y'all could send me some love your way, I'd appreciate it. So if you guys have any questions, I would hope, know where to find me. If not, I'm sure in the show notes have something, one thing or another. Otherwise, have a fabulous day. Stay awesome, and we'll catch you guys later. All right. See ya. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. I hope in between the words of this episode, you found more of your authentic self. It would mean the world to me if you, 1, like this episode if you learned something new, 2, share this episode with a friend who you think needs to hear this, and lastly, 3, to follow and subscribe to this podcast. I want to hang out with you more. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram, send me a DM, wave hi, whatever floats your boat, all at Sam Hardesty Coaching. That's at Sam Hardesty Coaching on Instagram. And hey, look at you go, learning new things, becoming more self-aware and shit. Absolutely crushing it, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you. And until next time, stay authentic.